Guys, get you to the show in a second, but first, how would you like to win this? A signed Liverpool home shirt. It's signed by Ibu Konate. To get your hands on this, very, very simple. Just make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube. We are on the road to 500,000 subscribers. We're very nearly there. Help us get there by subscribing right now. Just click the button below this video. Once you've done that, and once we get to the 500,000 subs, we'll do a draw, and one of you guys will win this amazing prize, like I say, signed by Big Ibu himself. Right, let's get on with the show. Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It was Arsenal 3, it was Liverpool 2 at the Emirates in a game that saw Liverpool go behind 3 times, recover it twice, but ultimately fall to a Bukayo Saka penalty, and ultimately just wild panic stations defending almost throughout. Has left us all feeling once again back down in the dumps after the little lift that was the Rangers game in midweek in the Champions League. Liverpool once again lacking sharpness, freshness, bodies to put into the mix in the midfield as well, and despite changes to try and add a little bit more stability, it actually cost Liverpool anything going the other way as well. Arsenal seemingly having the ability to have bodies at the back and yet bodies in attack as well, and that's what happens when you've got freshness in your side. And Liverpool, not a game totally bereft of quality, not a game bereft of chances that they created in good football, but one that found it in increasing, dwindling numbers as the game wore on. First half, Luis Diaz, really good down that left-hand side, as a clash, what looks like a clash of knees, and is forced to go off, and that hampers massively what Liverpool are doing. Darwin Núñez, really good first half, totally faded from sight, and again, I'm not sure that's a fitness thing. That's maybe it's a fitness of the people around him. You know, he's a centre forward thrives on service, and Arsenal totally throttled all of Liverpool's service in that second half. Thiago, a poor game from his very high standards in terms of his passing range. Jordan Henderson just always felt like half a yard off where he wants to be in terms of link-up play, which is not all him, of course, but again, just in terms of how you keep the door shut as well. Arsenal felt like if there was a 50-50, every 50-50 became a 55-45, and whether that's luck or circumstance, or really maybe it's just wanting it more, or just being, again, that just bit sharper and a bit more on it. And that's something that comes, and I talked about this about Liverpool's change of formation. It was great to see Liverpool switch things up. It looked far more impressive against Rangers, but, you know, that was the note of caution all along, is that you're playing Rangers. You know, they're a team in the Champions League that shouldn't be disrespected, but they're the whipping boys in the group. They're the first foray back into European football at that level for, you know, decades. They're not of that standard, and you were at home, so Liverpool would have been expected to be good in that. I thought with some of the encouraging signs from that were carried on to this. As mentioned, Luis Diaz's role and Darwin Núñez actually, you know, getting himself into the right areas, getting good shots off and scoring a goal as well, which is something which will hopefully help him moving forward. But Liverpool feel like a team that are taking small incremental wins, hoping that it'll add up to something big, whereas Liverpool need big, strong strides forward in the right direction, and they're not getting them right now, and every team feels capable of getting at the Reds. They've got a weak underbelly at the moment, and when it comes to teams swarming forward in attack, Liverpool just look at 6th and 7th. The calmness, the composure, the stability that's typified. Liverpool since Van Dijk came in, but they found it in the season leading up to Van Dijk coming in, that it's like we've gone back a million miles. Konate, hopefully getting a few minutes under his belt will help, although he added nothing in terms of that stability to Liverpool's side, really. He just looked off the pace. Bringing Gomez in is supposed to give Liverpool more stability, I guess, although obviously Trent does pick up a heavy knock in the first half, which it could have been that, but you're losing that link, and that's the problem with Liverpool's formation, is all of a sudden you're playing against a team at home, full of confidence, crowd behind them, and they all know each other, and they know their game, and they know their game plan inside and out, and Liverpool do not. And that can work against lesser opposition because you can blow them away with your individual quality, but when you're coming up against a team that's flying and a team that knows what they're supposed to be doing, and again is fighting as a collective with that hunger and that freshness and all that kind of stuff, they're going to come out on top. Arsenal have tried to come to Liverpool, and Liverpool in the past have had all the things that I've mentioned there, and Liverpool are missing a few of those key components of what's made them great. I don't know how they get it back at this point, but if you've got any thoughts on all this, it is your reactions, not mine. I just have a bit to get off my chest. Yeah, just Liverpool look woefully understaffed in the midfield department once again. And again, you can't help but look back to the thing. Liverpool needed to buy a midfielder in the summer. Haven't. They've brought someone else in who's now injured, and this has got all the hallmarks of 2021, is it, all over again, when they've taken a gamble on the volume of bodies in a team, and it's backfiring, and now they're having to dig themselves out of a hole, and that is a very difficult hole to dig into, because form and all the things that are associated with that are very hard to jumpstart. You've got to grind and graft your way back into that, and Liverpool look a million miles off it again today, which is funny because, you know, it's, again, as I say, it's a penalty that costs them the game. Some comments on referees, which we'll come to and what have you, but yeah, it is what it is. And the app here on YouTube says something in our system has to change now. Baffles me why these players are so out of touch with the playing style. Well, mate, because they've changed the system, so they're out of touch with the playing style. We saw it in the first half. You know, like Henderson and Thiago at times are both playing it like they're playing in the eights in our 4-3-3, forgetting that they're not. They're playing in a 6-6, which means that there's got to be either give and take of who goes or neither goes. Sit in, be a platform, be stable in front of the back four. Yeah, and again, that's what cost you. Fine margins cost you when you come up against great sides or teams in great form who've got the prospect of being a great side, which is clearly what Arsenal are at the moment. Fine margins win your football games, and we've got none of the fine margins on our side. We're trying to put fundamentals in place. We saw this when we played Arsenal under Brendan Rodgers, and we tried to play our passing style against them early doors in the season, and Arsenal wiped the floor with us. Arsenal have come to us over the last 3 seasons trying to get up to Liverpool's level, and they weren't at our level, and now the shoe's back on the other foot again. Andy App also says, might be a question for the podcast. I'm by no means in the delusion of Klopp out camp. There is no Klopp out camp, by the way. Let's make that perfectly clear. If these performances continue, is there any chance FSG may say enough is enough? No. I mean, look, there's a limit where everything goes so catastrophically wrong that you kind of have to pull the plug on stuff, but they just won't, because ultimately, let's put it right. FSG are very aware of what they haven't invested in the Liverpool squad. They're very aware that Jurgen Klopp has done a stellar job with the resources that he's had available to him. Jurgen and Michael Edwards and the coaching team. They know it's not cost them the earth to run Liverpool and be delivered the success and all the returns that have come with that, the growing the value of Liverpool, the marketability, and all the extra things that have come that's, you know, boosted up their overriding, or, you know, overall sports portfolio. They'll be well aware that there'll come a point where most football clubs do occasionally dip into a transfer deficit. We don't, you know, it's much to be nicely run overall in a very, you know, self-sustaining manner. But I would suspect that the overall feeling would be they'll throw money at the problem before they decide to throw the manager out. So I honestly wouldn't worry about it. There'll be people who will try to convince you otherwise. But it is what it is. We've been here before. We were here in 2021 and we came back brilliantly off the back of that, so yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Nick 200 said we can't change the owners, so obviously the owners might remove Jurgen just because I can't put into words how much the structure of how Liverpool is and how it's created. It wouldn't be like that, mate. Gareth Baird says, let's say positive, lads. We were 14 points behind last season too. Yeah. Look, I'm prepared to I think it's pointless to talk about title challenges until April anyway, and we like to get suckered into all these things. You know, how many seasons have we talked about, like, Chelsea are going to be the third team challenging for the title and it never materialised. Tottenham are in a title challenge, never materialises. Right now, Liverpool are not capable, and I would be foolish to think Liverpool will ever become capable this season of being a title challenging team, because they're miles off the level. But yeah, look, Liverpool just need to get in the habit of win 3 games back to back and see what it looks like. And then, hey, if you win the next 3, what does that look like? And so on and so forth. At the minute, they just can't do that. So it's pointless talking about anything beyond the next game for Liverpool in the league, unfortunately. James Lim says, we played well throughout spells today, but our defenders caused us problems again. The penalty shouldn't have happened. We should have just cleared it. Glad Nunes scored. He'll hopefully get up and running. Yeah, and that's going to be a big part of this. We are criminally lacking in top quality midfielders and it's been totally, it's completely exacerbated by the situation at the moment. And changing to that formation as well, that's the other problem now, is that you've taken Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho out of the midfield pool just by switching to a double six, because neither of them can play in that position. That would be a huge ask. So yeah, it's absolutely fucking wild. But the Núñez stuff, if he can get up and running and score some goals cover over a multitude of cracks. Just not today, because Arsenal are too good for that. Patrick's joined as a wonder kid. Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you so much, Martin Jeremy, who's joined as a first teamer as well. Get your comments in, guys. James Limmer says, no disrespect to Rangers by beating them. Yes, it's a win and a clean sheet, but the difference is the opponents is different class. We've looked tired from the start of the season. Yeah, look, this is also the thing. Liverpool are, in multiple competitions. It's possible to win the Champions League without being a 95-point Premier League team. It is. But, all of this stuff is a bit of a fucking pipe dream at the moment. They just need to get their act together, don't they? Patrick says, 2 good goals, but overall performance was piss poor. No point in questioning the owners. It's time to question the manager and if he deserves the job. Again, completely disagree on that, mate. And look, I know we go through the standard football analysis thing. It's like a merry-go-round where it's like X amount of results means you have to look at the manager. You don't. Sometimes you don't. And sometimes you don't have to. There's certain things you don't have to question. And maybe there is absolutely a question to be had over, should Liverpool's owners be spending more money? They should be spending more money. But sometimes you've just kind of got to go, whatever. It's miserable. It's horrible to have things be out of your control. But the constant need, if it makes you feel better by finding people or individuals to blame, then cool, there's tons. Blame the players on the pitch, because they're the ones who aren't, putting the bodies on the line, and they aren't organising themselves correctly to stop things going past them. There's brilliant footballers in there who should be able to sort this stuff out on the pitch, and again, they're not. Scott Hawks says our option was to bring on Fabinho, who's been the third worst player of our first choices. That's it, and that's where we're at. Fabinho should be better. Henderson should be better. Thiago should be better. And I know people can say that they're old and they need to be replaced and all that. Yeah, but they were fine like 6 months ago. They were and it can happen. Players can melt and they can fall off a cliff, but. Yeah, we still aren't good footballers. I would contend that there's just a wider thing that we've got going on at the moment, and it's something that I can't put my finger on. I wish I had the answers for everyone. I really wish I did. And I wish it was simple as we all like to have these, it'll be this guy or it's this guy or it's this guy. There's a whole bunch of contributing factors, and that's probably why it's so hard for Liverpool to put right. Maybe we should have just fucking found another boss midfield. Maybe we should have thrown so much money that it made Dortmund weep when they saw what they could do with the money, and and they go, have Jude Bellingham, just pay something stupid for him. I don't know. It's easy for me to say because it's not my money. I certainly would have done that on Football Manager. Darren Mindbender, go ahead. Welcome as a first teamer. Says, how many games this season do you feel as though we have outworked the opposition? Or I don't know, not many, mate. 1 or 2 at best. It's bad, isn't it? Really bad. Eaton Strawn with the super chats says, I don't like 44. I'd go back to 43, get Kanate in with more pace and go again. Yeah, the issue is just, we just feel like we're between stools, and this is what we did. This is why this season feels very like 2002, 2003, and it feels like 2009, 2010, where we came dead close to brilliance. And then we went, well, we need to get more goals. We need to find a way to break down those attacking teams and the defensive teams, and we'll go a bit more attacking. And we fucked the balance by doing it. And that's where we're at a bit now, where we've put our eggs in Darwin Núñez's basket. We've gone, we need to refresh the attack. We need a clinical centre forward in our side. And whether that was a choice to go, oh, we're like that and not that, I don't know. But when we've not strengthened the midfield, which quite clearly could have done with more. Quite clearly they knew that as well by the fact that they wanted too many. It's I feel like I don't know what formation or what style we've bought for, because Núñez doesn't look right for the 4-3-3, but he also looks the lad most likely to score a goal for us. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. Shane, shocking in defence, slow midfield. Stop talking about top four and winning the league. Yeah, no, you're right. Andy App's quite drunk right now, so I think that's fueling the anger. It's such a poor result. Good, there you go. I think it'll be a bit more level-headed about it tomorrow morning. After all, Arsenal in top four. No, exactly, and that's the double annoying thing about it is the rivals. I know if many of you are Liverpool fans who live in and around London, I'm sure you've got Arsenal mates. I've got a brother-in-law who I'm certain will be texting me any minute now if he hasn't done so already. So I know that exacerbates all that and the banter and all that fun shit that you got to live with online. To just switch social media off a couple of days. We call it the blackout. Once you're done watching our shows, hit that social media blackout up until the point that Liverpool kick off the next game. That's how you deal with defeats. It's harder now in the social media age, I appreciate. Jason Throon. Hendo right mid at 32 years old against Arsenal. Yeah, I know. But moreover, not even the age, it's back to the position that he wasn't great. He got lambasted for playing under Kenny Dalglish, and we're doing it again. And I get why we're doing it again, because we don't have enough midfielders at the moment to trust that we can play three in mid. So we're throwing our eggs into two up top, and they don't want to. Whatever. Finn Wiley, subs have to be questioned, taking off all our pace to play a leggy Hendo at right wing, turning into a top six race very quickly. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a very, very long season. You don't have to be that good to finish fourth. And I've said this before, right now, winning 3 games back-to-back feels like a monumental task. But it should be possible. It's definitely possible. And if you do that, it changes the landscape massively, because lots of teams in those positions don't do that as well. But yeah, Liverpool just have to do that and trust that other things go shittily wrong for other teams as well, which would be nice because they go wrong for us. A lazy Dregden over on Twitter, just breaking out the "that's one big pile of shit" gif from Jurassic Park, which I think is wonderfully apt for how I think we're all feeling looking at that second half performance from Liverpool today. Andy Springer says refereeing was awful, but our defence was worse. All of Arsenal goals were completely avoidable. And Shaky Boy 75 says poor. It's that simple. We've forgotten how to defend. Club Legend Discorders. I hope everyone's keeping their heads on here. Zenedevevdro. Nailed it. It says, how can we expand on the change in formation? It's given Darwin the ability to be dangerous, but isn't exactly sorting the defensive issue we have. The honest answer is I don't know, and that's where Klopp earns the big bucks and where they're going to have to figure that out, because they've bought this guy. It has to make sense, and it made sense in that formation. And I just think, ultimately, I wonder whether we've shifted to that formation because we've recognised that, and I said this, 4-3-3 is the elite formation. That's where you aim to be. So you need to have the right players in the right situation for that to work for you. And at the moment, Liverpool don't. So I wonder whether they've jettisoned that formation because they think, well, we can work our way through Europe regardless because we've got the quality to do that and the experience. But maybe we just need to be a flat track bully. And so we'll hopefully batter all the other teams, but we might struggle against the top teams, which is not great when we've got 2 of them back to back when we're already in shite form, because that's going to leave us with just a real psychological mountain to climb. But yeah. A Hart says, I think Klopp cost us that game by changing formation. I think a 2-2, going back to 4-3-3, then a weird 4-4-2 with Hendo. Very strange. Well, he didn't. That's the problem. Is that? But it was defo. He changed to 4-4-2, which they think it is already. But when it's 4-4-2 with Diaz and Salah, is obviously wildly different to 4-4-2 with Elliott and Henderson. They've tried their best, I think, to keep the formation. Where probably going to 4-3-3 would have been the idea, but again, we were left with Firmino, Jota and Núñez up front, who, although Jota can do the left-hand side, only any one of us would have been happy to see Firmino play either side of a 3, because we're years past that being a thing. So that's where we're at. It's shuffling the pack with what you've got. Maybe Carvalho would have been the right answer and go with 4-3-3 that way, but you're taking Núñez off to do that, I would suspect. Oh, I don't know. Mike actually says here, I don't think the formation matters with our midfield options. Yeah, that's it. You know, you're having to play to what we've got to some extent. Owen Slater says, I really want to take positives, and they're there to be had, specifically the first half. I thought we played really well, bar the first and last minute, but those mistakes are in us. We just need a run of results. I don't care if it's luck or great football. We get that. I think we kickstart. The thing keeping me positive is that there's a bunch of players I'd pick to get us out of this situation. It's these. Yeah, I think that's a really spot on point, mate. And look, again, we're all feeling down in the dumps about it, and more unfortunately about it. There's frig all we can do about it. I know some people like to play the portion of the blame to us because we're out here talking about it as the facing where it's easy to take shots. We think it's shit too. I want to see Liverpool win every game of football. I do. It deeply harms my emotional state when Liverpool aren't good. And I'm sure you all feel the very same way. But sadly, this is the problem, is that we don't have a direct impact on it. You have to this is football. You've got to put your trust in the people doing the job. If you want something with more guaranteed returns, then you have watch films or watch documentaries of seasons where you know they win. Whereas it's a live thing, football. It's 11 people going up another against another 11 people. Arsenal would have gone into that with the ambition of beating Liverpool, and they've come out happy. They'd be miserable and they'd be questioning things if it went the other way. Like, that's football. You're right. I totally agree with that point, is that if Liverpool are going to dig themselves out of this, I'd rather a bunch of guys who've won all the major honours dig us out than in years gone by we were asking Liverpool teams to go and find depths that they didn't possess because they'd won fuck all. This happens to teams. We've seen plenty of Chelsea teams go from winning the league and then they still manage to turn out. They don't do it in the league campaign the next season, but they manage to deliver something. A lot of football to be played, a lot of games to be played, a lot of other silverware up for grabs, if probably not the Premier League this time around, which is wholly depressing to be saying this in October. And questions to be asked, do Liverpool need to go and spend big in January to do this? Can they? Is there players there to do it? I don't know, but right now it's not right. They need to figure things out. They can't expect to beat teams of the calibre that Arsenal are at with the performance that they put in today. That's just the way things go. So it's got to be more, and it's got to be better from Liverpool. Right, sound, that is me. Briefly just check how I say a couple more super chats just before I go. Mr. Butter says the intensity isn't there anymore. I don't know. I thought the intensity was all right actually. If I'm being honest today, it's a soft as fuck penalty, that, isn't it? It's been better, if not great. I don't know. And AJD says, big up Paul. Can't even enjoy United losing as then Everton go above us. Also, the Diaz news leaving on crutches is horrible. Yeah, that's absolutely shite. Hopefully, it is just a thing to take precaution over him, but we'll have to see in the coming days. Anyway, yeah, shite innit? Absolutely shite. Right, that's me. Watch Chloe do the player ratings. Come back and check us out on Instant Match Reaction. We've had a little time to soak it all up. That's over on Redmen Plus. That'll be streaming live, but also in podcast form afterwards as well. And then we'll have the final word Monday morning with Pajak, and hopefully we'll just get this all out of our system. But I would strongly advise, fuck Twitter off, fuck Facebook off, fuck the rest of YouTube comments and all that. Other people will try to make you feel worse. It's bad. It's meant to feel bad. Liverpool aren't in great form. This is what it's meant to feel like. We've had the highs. This is what most other football fans have felt like for the time while we've been doing really well. So it is shit, but Liverpool eventually will figure it out again and we'll be happy again. So let's just ride it out and shut out all the other shit until that happens again is what I would recommend. Or fill your boots on misery, because that also helps too. Right. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Liverpool aren't at the moment, but that will change. But you being awesome won't change because you are awesome. Stay awesome. Check player ratings out in a little bit. Ta-da.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that show. Did you know Redmen Plus subscribers get access to their exclusive Facebook group? Yes, there is a Redmen Plus subscribers group on Facebook just for them. So if you want to get involved with like-minded Reds and avoid the idiots on Twitter and normal Facebook and all that, yeah, sign up to Redmen Plus, enter your username as you sign up to the Facebook group, and you'll get access to. Ta-da.